says, we have one of the beings back here and no one can get him to talk or understand what's going on. And that's why we need you here.
Are they holding these extraterrestrials there against their will?
Now, when I went there, they told me that this entity was a guest of the United States government. I went in, he went ahead, he's looking down like this. Then he raised his head and looked up at me like that. And right off the bat, I could feel him saying, I am afraid.
At what point did you realize they were extraterrestrial?
From day one, from the time they came there. And the reason I knew that was that
Today on Cosmic Disclosure, we're with Sergeant Clifford Stone, who has amazing personal experiences with extraterrestrials in the military. Sergeant Stone, welcome to the show.
Thank you, I'm glad to be here.
Sarge, many people out there claiming ETs are amongst us. Are they?
I actually know that to be true through personal experiences. Corona, I remember his name because he's going to be with me throughout life. And sometimes he creates problems for me.
Well, what's your involvement with that?
He's learning from me, and there's thousands of people out there that have a companion, I'll put it that way, that's going to follow them throughout life. And once again, they're among us. He's not going to go into a social event with me. I know of at least 2 other people who've seen him. In one instance, it saved that individual's life. But, you know, that's not the purpose. They're learning from your experiences. I can go ahead, look at this document page by page, and even if I'm not reading it, he can actually pick up on everything that's there, and he'll fully remember. And at the same time, everything I see, like when I'm going through my documents, they see. One instance was that I had contact with some people who they look very much like you and me, very normal. We talked and they had talked about things, and I was wondering, gee, where did they get all their knowledge about certain things, about space, about our solar system, the manipulation of space-time. And they finally told me that we're not from your planet, but we are trying to learn from interaction with people like you and even others, but you know something strange about us. Well, yeah, I knew when we turned the lights off and they could go ahead and touch something and they could tell you the color of that object, then they'd go into detail explaining about the reflection of light actually determines the color of something, but the vibration of the object or whatever also will reflect the color when there's no light to reflect the color. And I mean, I'm doing it in layman's terms, struggling at trying to explain that. They did it in very scientific terms. So I had contact with these people for almost 2 weeks.
Sarge, where was this situation?
This place was right outside of Anniston, Alabama. And I was sent there to attend another TDY for some additional training.
Please explain what a TDY is for the audience.
TDY is temporary duty. Once again, it was at Fort McCollum, Alabama. We were introduced, so the whole situation is, it wasn't by accident.
How was that experience?
It was weird because, I mean, I thought, you pull on my leg, you know, this can't be real. But I mean, actually, we found out and they said, you know, well, it's, you know, we have certain talents. Then someday, your species will have these same talents. That there's an evolution that takes place over a period of time. Things happen, like right now, you have the ability to do certain things with your psychic ability. The reason you don't use it now is that you're so accustomed to telling yourself that you can't, that these psychic abilities don't exist. You cannot see things into the future. You cannot go ahead and pick up on certain things.
Could they use telepathy?
Oh yeah.
And psionics?
Right, that's what they refer to as thought transfer. Mm-hmm. But if they do that, then people say, why are those people just looking at one another and from time to time like this, but not talking. I mean, what's going on there? So this way it didn't draw suspicion. And they had to fit in wherever they were at. The only time they didn't fit in is like I say, when you turn the lights off and they could tell you the colors of certain things. And like you turn the lights off when it's a very dark room, you can't see your hand in front of you. You're going to bump into things and run into things. They're not going to do that.
Sarge, what did you learn from them?
I wasn't astute scientifically as what these people were. And they would try to explain things to me, and like you'd try to explain to a child, because if they talked in heavy technical terms I couldn't understand. So that's the way they would relate it to me. But otherwise we'd talk about, you know, where are you from? How's your family? Things that normally people just generically talk about.
At what point did you realize they were extraterrestrial?
From day one, from the time they came there. And the reason I knew that was that they actually asked about what went through my mind when I helped that one escape. And I'm sitting back, how do they know about that?
What do you mean escape?
Well, they're at Fort Belvoir, Virginia. We went ahead and we had one ET that we recovered from a craft or something. It was all by itself. They guarded it, they tried to talk to it, they couldn't talk to it.
What kind of extraterrestrial?
Once again, this was one of the grays, but it'd be what we called type 3 gray, because it was a taller one, about 4 foot tall.
What's a type 1 and 2?
Type 1 is roughly 3.5 foot tall, a very dark gray. Type 2, about the same size, looking very similar to the type 1, only it's a lighter gray. Their technological level of knowledge, I don't know. Is there a difference? Yes, there is.
Are they sentient beings? Are they conscious? Or is it a programmed life form? Is there cybernetic, is there circuitry with organic tissue? Or is it just like a human being?
No, these entities are 100% biological entities. I'm going to say, okay, they're born of a mom and dad. They're brought up in a family. They're just like us. Now, with that being said, I need to point out at this time also that there are certain, and we'd call it artificial intelligence, only the artificial intelligence that we're referring to that sometimes appears and looks like an intelligent life when it is. I don't know how to really put this in a term, but the intelligence that are, and this is old technology for them, because initially this mechanical biological intelligence that was actually initially sent here before man was even here to seek out other life in the universes and even in other dimensions, they have a conscience. They have a realization of their existence. They have a realization that at some point that existence is going to end. That artificial intelligence that is so lifelike that it has all the emotions of an sentient being.
So tell me about the escape. I mean, exactly what happened there?
Well, when they took me there, I went ahead and they couldn't communicate, but that was the choice of the entity. And I'm going to try to get through this real quick because I get emotional about it. When I went there, they told me, okay, and this is once again the guy I always called the colonel. He says, we have one of the beings back here and no one can get him to talk or understand what's going on. And that's why we need you here. Fort Belvoir, Virginia has an Air Force unit there who is directly responsible for all the activities dealing with real UFO, real interplanetary craft events. And they report directly back to the Air Force's Office of Scientific Intelligence, who reports directly back to the CIA's Office of Scientific Intelligence.
Are they holding these extraterrestrials there against their will?
Now, when I went there, they told me that this entity was a guest of the United States government. Yet, this entity was under heavy guard And the situation when I went in and saw the entity, and remember when they start to talk to you, you're feeling what they're feeling.
Right, it's an emotional
There's an
language.
emotional bond, yes, it's right there. So when I went in, he went ahead, he's looking down like this, then he raised his head and looked up at me like that, and right off the bat, I could feel him saying, "I am afraid." Now with him saying, "I am afraid," immediately, I was getting visions in my mind of his family, of him fearing not seeing his family again. Also, of the destruction that was going to happen when his people, who were already on their way there to get him, and they would have to go ahead and use the technology that they had that would totally destroy that building and probably would kill some of us that was in that building. And he didn't want that to happen. He would much rather prefer that his death occur as opposed to having us people who did not know what we were doing have us killed.
Selfless. Wow.
So I picked up on it and I let him know, we'll get you out of here. And he made it clear that it would have to be outside of the perimeter fence line. And that's the way he put it, perimeter fence line. So I asked to go back out to smoke a cigar. And while I was out there, I told one of my friends if he would mind getting a pair of wire cutters and slipping them in back of the back fence. There was one gate that led back to where the building was. And you'd go through that one gate, there was no other gates. The building itself had a front entrance and a back entrance. Anyhow, I went ahead and told the person I always called the colonel, he's got something he wants to demonstrate to me. And he doesn't want no one else here. It's for my eyes only. But then I can explain it to you and maybe even have some evidence about what we were talking about. And the colonel reluctantly agreed to move everyone out of the building. And when they moved everyone out, I went ahead, got our entity, and I said, "Okay, let's go." And we ran like crazy to that back door, went out, and I was cutting like crazy the wire back there. So I got it to where I could go ahead, put my body between it and push it up this way so he could crawl under it. So I cut myself, and you know how it is with this storm gauge wire that goes around bases. I cut myself because, I couldn't hold it without it hitting me, but I could hear the people, the guards yelling, "Halt, or we're going to shoot, halt, we're going to shoot." And I could hear them lock and loading their weapons. When he got out, they went ahead, and he looked up and the craft came over. And all this happened in the twinkling of an eye.
Thank you, Sergeant Clifford Stone.
Once again, my great pleasure.
My name is Emery Smith, and this is Cosmic Disclosure. Until next time.
If you enjoyed this, make sure to watch the next video on Awaken Zone. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, but you won't want to miss what's coming next.